America's civil rights movement was not just a struggle, it was a revolution, a battle for dignity, equality, and the soul of a nation. It's a story of courage, resilience, and hope. Join us as we explore its origins, milestones, and enduring legacy. The seeds of the civil rights movement were planted long before the 20th century. After slavery was abolished in 1865, the Reconstruction era promised newfound rights for African Americans. However, this hope was short-lived. Jim Crow laws, enforced by violence and systemic oppression, segregated Black Americans and denied them basic rights. Schools, public facilities, and even water fountains bore signs reading "Whites Only." The promise of equality for all remained unfulfilled. In the early 1900s, leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey laid the groundwork for the fight against inequality. The NAACP, founded in 1909, began challenging discriminatory laws through the courts. World War II further galvanized the cause. Black soldiers fought for freedom abroad while being denied it at home. This hypocrisy sparked a new determination among African Americans to demand their rights. In 1955, a single act of defiance ignited a movement. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man on a segregated bus in Montgomery, Alabama. Her arrest led to the Montgomery bus boycott, a year-long protest that crippled the city's transit system and highlighted the power of collective action. This boycott also introduced the world to Martin Luther King Jr., a young pastor who would become the voice of a generation. Central to the movement was the philosophy of nonviolence. Inspired by Mahatma Gandhi, activists conducted peaceful protests against injustice. Sit-ins, where Black students refused to leave segregated lunch counters, became a powerful symbol of resistance. But these peaceful protests were often met with brutal violence. Freedom riders, who rode interstate buses to challenge segregation, faced mobs and arrests. Yet their courage forced the federal government to act. August 28, 1963, marked a pivotal moment. Over 250,000 people gathered for the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech, painting a vision of racial harmony that resonated around the world. 2 years later, the Selma to Montgomery marches highlighted the struggle for voting rights. On Bloody Sunday, marchers were brutally attacked by police, shocking the nation and spurring the passage of the Voting Rights Act in 1965. Not all activists agreed on strategy. Malcolm X criticized nonviolence, advocating for self-defense and Black empowerment. Groups like the Black Panther Party took a more militant stance, focusing on community programs and protecting African Americans from police brutality. The civil rights movement achieved landmark victories. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 banned discrimination in public spaces. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 restored access to the ballot. Yet, the movement's work was far from over. Today, movements like Black Lives Matter continue the fight for justice. Issues like police violence, systemic racism, and voter suppression show that the struggle for equality is ongoing. The civil rights movement teaches us that change requires courage, sacrifice, and unity. From the streets of Montgomery to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, ordinary people made history. Now it's up to us to carry their legacy forward. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, share it, discuss it, and act on it. Together, we can build a future worthy of the sacrifices of those who came before us. Subscribe for more stories of history, courage, and resilience.